Hey everyone, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new campaign series here today on the channel. We're going to be playing Empire 2, a mod for Empire Total War. We're going to be playing as Great Britain. So, if you like the sound of that, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. So this is my first time playing Empire 2 on the channel. Let's play wise. So let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for you Empire 2 connoisseurs. It's been a while since I've played Empire. The last couple of series would have been Darth Mod, but this seems to be sort of one of the most new and popular mods for Empire 2. So maybe, depending on how well this series does, we could play as Russia, France, the Ottomans. But yeah, let me know feedback and suggestions. So throughout this series, we're going to try and give rise to the British Empire. And yeah, talk a little about history too. We might even dive into some of the historical characters, and we'll see how we go. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get stuck into the Great Britain. Let's play. Alright, so we don't need to hear that intro there. Alright, well, it's been a while since I played Empire. I roughly remember the plan for Britain. Build up a navy, go on colonizing, and basically try to avoid massive European wars if we can. Now, I don't particularly want to rush France or Spain. I kind of want to keep them alive. That's a legitimate strategy too, just rushing Paris and Spain and just getting rid of them. But I think I want to try and go into India. We've still got the 13 colonies as well. We could try and bring them under our direct control, not allow them to become the United States. So we have no influence in India at the moment. However, we do have some Caribbean holdings. Scotland's here too. So we're currently under the reign of King William III, and here is our cabinet. I can't remember which government style is the best. I think it is actually a republic, but I could be wrong. But it's going to be interesting to see how this campaign goes. Spain, Portugal, and France are going to be vying for us, and then obviously the Polish and the Prussians and the Russians are going to be at each other's throats in Eastern Europe. And then we've got the Ottoman Empire to contend with too. Alright, so let's go through our cabinet. So, Sidney Godolphin is our Prime Minister. Not too bad. Okay, just looking briefly at the stars of the cabinet. Not too shabby. I don't need to fire anyone here and reshuffle this. I remember in Darth Mod you can actually like drag and drop. We got John Smith, our Chancellor here. William, our Chief Justice. George Clark, our Secretary of War. John Egerton, First Lord of the Admiralty. And Ellis, who is our Minister. And then we've got the opposition candidates too. Alright, diplomacy-wise, the 13 colonies are our protectorate. We do have a bunch of alliances too. We'll try and keep as many of those in check, but we don't want to try and get drawn into a massive continental land war just yet. Portugal, Savoy, we're still at war with various emirates and pirates. Still got a decent amount of trade partners too. So you can see the nation culture groups, Germanic, Italian, English, Franco, whatnot. We also probably want to try and get some trade rights too. So let's negotiate with Austria. And we can't trade any tech at the moment, because sometimes that's not a bad idea. So let's try and demand a payment for trade, as we're going to try and have a huge monopoly on it. We'll try and get the gems, we'll try and get the cotton, and, well, human resources, I suppose. Okay, let's negotiate with Denmark. We should be able to get trade with Frederick in Aarhus, and he's going to give us a... Well, he's demanding a small payment for that, but we should be able to make that back just fine. Now, there's only a certain amount of trade lanes and limited trading ports, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful of who we trade with. So, let's go with Prussia. We should be able to get more ports once we build them up too. But as we are an island nation, we need to protect our island, and we will need to invest into our navy. Okay, tech and research wise, we want to move a gentleman into Cambridge. So, where do we want to start? Land. Animal husbandry is not a bad idea to start things off. And let's move our gentleman into Cambridge. And there's so much tech we need to do too. So the tech tree doesn't look too overly different. And let's try and upgrade some buildings eventually. Alright, so let's have a look at our lists at the moment, where we start. So I think making plans and preparations to go to war with Scotland and bring them into the United Kingdom is probably not a bad idea. So we've got John Churchill. He currently sits in London. Londinium. Oh my god, he is a spectacular military commander. Has 5 units under his control in London. So just a brief history on John Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough. So he was a prominent general and English statesman. He initially served at court as a page before becoming a soldier. His career took a significant turn during the reign of King James II, where his loyalty and skill earned him a rapid advancement. But he later switched allegiance to William of Orange during the Glorious Revolution in 1688, which deposed James and secured William as king. Churchill's most celebrated achievement came during the Spanish War of Succession in 1701 to 1714, where he led British and Allied forces to a decisive victory against the French, enhancing British influence in Europe. He won a string of victories against the French, which were instrumental in weakening King Louis and his ambitions. His success and loyalty to Queen Anne secured him a number of titles, including Duke of Marlborough, and he constructed a palace as a royal gift for his service. He is one of numerous great British military commanders, and he's lived on through his descendants. Everyone knows the infamous Winston Churchill. So Winston Churchill was a direct descendant of John Churchill. So Winston Churchill was John Churchill's great grandson, 5 generations removed. We also have another prominent military commander under our control, Henry de Mauzul, who is currently in Ireland. The Earl of Galway was a French Huguenot noble who became a key military leader for England, fleeing to England after the 1685 persecution of the Huguenots. He supported William of Orange and fought in the 9 Years' War. He later commanded English forces in Spain and Portugal during the Spanish War of Succession, although he suffered a major defeat at the Battle of Almansa in 1707. He remained a respected British military commander and supported Huguenot refugees in England, where he spent his years. So maybe if we ever look to conquer France, maybe we install him as their leader. Let him be like the Lord Paramount of France or whatnot. Bring back Huguenot rights and whatnot. But I'm a little bit reluctant to go and rush and take out the Spanish and the French. Now, in vanilla, if you're like sort of a newbie, I would highly recommend rushing France, rushing Spain as quickly as possible, because we're going to be quite often battling them in various theatres and whatnot. But I think that's sort of cool, sensible and realistic. I kind of want to keep them and have those grand French and Spanish colonial wars, and everyone's fighting for their own little sphere of influence in the Americas and in the Indian subcontinent. But it's just how it's set up in Empire. You're better off rushing France because for some reason it's a one settlement country. Same with Spain. Alright, so we're going to look to get some more regiments in, and we're going to have to go through our navy too. But we're making plans and preparations to go to Edinburgh and bring the Scots to heel. So Edward Russell is one of our admirals, part of the admiral staff. George Rooke as well, and John as well. So we need to look to invest, which is going to be quite expensive, keeping up a land army and a naval regime. Okay, so we're blocking the straits, so that should stop other powers at least going to those other trade nodes. It's on the list. We have to go and get those trade nodes, and we need to make sure we put a slop in every single port so we don't get blocked. And we need to invest. There's so much to do in this first episode. So firstly, I will negotiate with Scotland saying, hey, become a protectorate, bend the knee, become my vassal, and we'll give you some level of autonomy. The Scots will refuse, so we're going to go against them. So let's get some cannons from Ireland. It seems like we can get our best infantry from London by the look of it. Okay, over in the Caribbean, we have Port Royal in Jamaica. Yeah, give me one of those beer cans, brother. Alright, let's get some Dutch colonial militia in. Hell yeah, brother. All right, let's have a look a little bit north in Nassau, because we've still got the pirates of the Caribbean lurking around. Where's Jack Rackham? He's probably lurking around somewhere, hanging out. So we're going to have to deal with the pirate scourge at some point. Black Sails, great show. Highly recommend it. If you're still craving some pirate action after watching that first Pirates movie, which is so beautiful. That is such a good movie, that first Pirates of the Caribbean. I love it. All right, so I'm nearly tempted to make a trade agreement here with the French for Rupert's Land, because it's so far north. It's so far away from any of my territory. I don't think they're going to accept, but the French seem to have obviously more of what will eventually become Canada. We've got Quebec, Montreal, and whatnot. But essentially, Moose Factory up there is just so far north. It's going to cost a lot to hold it, and I don't know if it's that valuable. I think we're better off focusing on the Caribbean, and then like maybe some of the Native American states that are free and independent at the moment, like Texas and maybe Iroquois stuff, I don't know. Okay, so I think we've gone through a lot here setting up our British Empire. So let's end the turn and continue, see how the other factions end up. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in this series. Who's going to go to war? Will we get called in? Who's going to declare war upon us? Okay, firstly, the Iroquois have attacked the 13 colonies. And we're going to stand with our colonial brothers. So we want to try and support them. So we're going to join their war. So interesting. If any of the states get overthrown, we might need to run and help. So Spain has broken their alliance. Interesting. Lithuania and Denmark too. Some of our path has been blocked. A mission has been issued. Okay. War has been declared. Oh, okay. Spain and the Dutch are at war. Prussia and the Polish. Sweden's at war. Maratha Confederacy in Portugal? Interesting. Has that got to do with like Monsoy or Ceylon potentially? I'm not too sure. Okay, well, we're still making plans to go against the Scots. Looks like the French Navy is moving up. We're going to move our spy to get in range. We could maybe do some sabotage, infiltrate. Our mission was successful. Nice. Let's move to the border. Oh, yeah, because you can't trespass in Empire. We'll call our allies, though. And we'll push to the border. Doesn't seem like they've got a land army yet either. And then Henry de Muzzle will be able to come and help. So we'll just ask for peace. Become protectorate, because now we've got forces on the border. No. Okay, so they're not interested. So it looks like our first war in this series will be against the Scottish. Let's go around here and get some sloops. Get some slops in our ports. Because we don't want armies to land and then overall to block our ports. Let's move down to Port Royal, to Jamaica, and let's just move some of these units in. There's also a lot of pirate territory. There's also a lot of rebel territory in and around the New World, so maybe we're better off focusing on that. We could also, depending where our finances go, we might be able to take some territory on the North American continent, like Georgia or something. Okay, things are slowly but surely ticking along. We still haven't gone on like a crazy investment into our farming and industrial buildings just yet. We're just trying to focus on getting a land army. The thing is, we need to get a navy going to rule the waves and protect our trade that we're going to set up. We also need an army to defend, and we just need to get that going too. So we'll slowly invest, but maybe taking territory is probably the best way for us to make money. Okay, Spain and France have broken their alliance. That's great for me, because we don't want them allying up. Austria and Venice, Zaporizhia. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because there are some independent states in Ukraine at the moment. Zaporizhia and Crimea. Interesting. Right. Okay, so let's move into Scotland and have our First Highland War. So let's get John Churchill to besiege. We'll continue. We'll bring in Henry de Muzzle with those additional reinforcements, and we'll demand the surrender of the Scottish. They've refused. Typical Scotsman, not wanting to bend the knee to the king. Now that we're actually sieging them, sometimes you can get lucky. So hey, become our protectorate. We'll give you trade. No, they're going to refuse once again. Maybe if we didn't offer them the protectorate, they probably would sue for peace, but then we don't get any advantage from them. They do have one mortar though. Alright, let's fight this one on the battlefield. Let's do a save, and let's fight against the Scottish. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Empire 2 loading screens. Maybe I'm just too used to the massive painting landscapes that we see in Darth Mod. Just the art is just so much better. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with that? I think Darth Mod has better loading screens in my opinion. So we're going to try and enforce the Acts of Union, which happened in 1707 by military force in this particular run. So let's fight the Scottish here and bring them into our United Kingdom. Well, it's the Kingdom of Great Britain, I guess, at this point, technically. So the Acts of Union in 1707 were 2 acts passed by the Parliament of England and Scotland that united the Kingdom of England, including Wales, and the Kingdom of Scotland into the Kingdom of Great Britain on the 1st of May 1707. So the motivation, the Union aimed to provide political stability, economical benefits, and security against potential alliances between Scotland and France. They established a single Parliament of Great Britain at Westminster, created a unified economic area allowing free trade between England and Scotland, preserved the established churches of the Presbyterian Church of Scotland and the Anglican Church of England. Scotland was provided with representation in Westminster and access to England's overseas trade. The Union was obviously controversial, with ongoing debates about Scottish identity and autonomy that even continue to this day. Zooming back into the battle here now. Now, throughout this Let's Play, I think I'm going to chop up the battles just a bit, just for the exciting moments, because Empire battles are not the most micro-heavy and are a little bit long in my opinion, but we've just sent our cavalry around to deal with the mortars. We've advanced our front line, and we're just going to be trading fire back and forth with the Scots here now, and that's just going to take time at the moment. So they're going to try and cluster up here. We're using the buildings on the right to our advantage, and then hopefully we can hold and win. Okay, still trading musket fire at the moment. 50% in our favour. Okay, so we're going to try and move our pikes a little bit closer up. We might even get to rush them at some point. We'll look to angle our muskets. Okay, so on the left-hand side here, we're opening up another angle. They've charged us there. And we're going to move our pikes up to try and help. They've moved their own pikes up too. My cavalry is wreaking havoc around the back of their line. My artillery is still having a field day. Just putting a lot of lead down range at the moment here now. We just have superior infantry at the moment. But tactically, nothing too crazy. Pushed up. Start folding the flanks. Hitting them from multiple angles from the side and rear. Trying to get my cavalry here now, because we do have cavalry supremacy. We also have artillery too, putting pressure. They did have one lot of mortars, which have now been completely dissolved. And now my cavalry is charging them in the rear. But overall, most of them are wavering. Okay, the Scottish have capitulated. Not the most overly difficult fight. Let's speed things up. Just trying to run down as many of them as we can. We've claimed a close victory against the Scots. Alright, so did lose 600, but not too shabby. Let's have a look at the kills. The cavalry did most of the work, which is fantastic, followed by the militia. Alright, so Edinburgh has now fallen. Scotland as a nation has been destroyed and has been consumed into Great Britain and our eventual British Empire and United Kingdom. John Churchill wins his first victory. So we are going to have to sit here for quite some time now and convert the local populace and deal with a lot of public unrest and disorder, because it's mostly Celtic here at the moment. As you can see, it's mostly English here, and it's growing in Ireland, of course. Alright, so luckily we were able to defeat the Scots before the French or anyone else came in and backed them. Like, the last thing we want is a French outpost on our soil. So we are going to negotiate with Austria here, get a trade agreement finally with them. And we might need to change the government building inside Edinburgh as well. We'll just have to see. But Darth Mod, very much like Empire 2 here now, is a slow, methodical campaign. So you're not going to be able to go around and rapidly conquer territory as much as you would like in vanilla. Okay, so I guess we can negotiate with this Iranian-Pakistan kingdom there. That'd be a good idea. Because I haven't decided as well who I'm going to go to war against in the Indian subcontinent. Basically, we want to try and form the British Empire. I want to try and focus on our overseas colonies because that's where the money is. I don't want to be particularly drawn into a European land war, but we might need to go into various theatres in the Balkans and maybe even into Crimea and whatnot. But yeah, let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions, plans for this series. Like, we're going to go into India at some point. Do we go after Montsoy? Do we go after the Dutch? Because they have Ceylon. Do we go against the Mughal Empire or the Maratha Confederacy? Do we betray the 13 colonies, try and take them for ourselves? Do we focus on the Spanish holdings in the New World, or the French? Or maybe we go after the Native Americans, who hold Texas and Georgia, potentially. Still a lot to do. So at the moment, we're just going to try and get trade rights with everyone. And then we'll try and put some of that trade into our farms and industry and keep it insular, because we don't want to be relying on trade too much, but it's hard because we are playing as England at the end of the day. Okay, so Scotland has been claimed. We'll move up some more military assets up there because we just need to keep it under our control. We're going to exempt them from tax, but I don't know how well that's going to do. We've got more cannons as well, so let's move them. They're not going to be the best for military repression, I guess, but it's better than nothing. The slops are coming along too, and we can move our army back to Nassau. I think consolidating it here in the Bahamas is probably the play. Port Royal is probably okay. It seems like we're probably going to go into North America sooner rather than later. We'll just have to see. We'll keep our navy here too. Let's disembark them. And we also need to go out and get those trade nodes once we get a navy going, I think. Okay, so let's end the turn and continue. Doing pretty well so far, setting up the first episode in this particular campaign. And this is my first time playing Empire 2. I briefly played a couple turns just to make sure it worked, but now we've got the ball rolling a bit. But yeah, let me know feedback and suggestion. You guys have played this quite a lot. I don't know why the alliance broke again. That's a bit weird. Interesting. Okay, so still getting more ships built. We're not at war with any major power just yet. It's probably not a bad idea to do it in the Americas and up there in Moose Factory, because we still could deal with pirates and other rabble. Alright, so we just need to move more military forces to Scotland as best we can. Let's get those grenadiers up there too. We don't want a rebellion in Scotland. Okay, holding the strait there. It's stopping the Swedish from coming across. That's probably not a bad idea. Okay, so we've nearly moved a full stack into Scotland now, but we're still dealing with public order issues, which will take quite some time to convert. Let's move you here as well. So we're currently operating with a stack and a half, so still not the greatest military might at the moment. It's just so expensive to get the ball rolling. Oh, we have had a rebellion in Scotland, unfortunately, so we're going to have to deal with that. It's probably quite a large one too. Nothing really we could do about it, I don't think. But now we do have more professional soldiers, and we also have more artillery too. Okay, so nearly have a ship in those multiple points. Alright, well, unfortunately on that note here, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the first episode of my Empire 2 Total War Great Britain series. Stay tuned for episode 2, coming out the exact same time tomorrow, where we're going to have another battle against Scotland. Let me know feedback and suggestions in the comments, where you'd like me to expand and conquer. And yeah, support this series if you want to see more Empire 2. Depending on the support, I can definitely see myself doing more campaigns. Maybe as Prussia, maybe as France, maybe even as the Dutch. That actually might be quite fun too. But anyway, make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpsy. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.